Honestly, I think last week, if somebody had asked me to identify and describe what a Labubu was, I would not have been able to tell you. And now I can tell you, but I think I would rather just be shot. Welcome to the 1 Hour, One Brain Cell podcast. Look, it needed to be said, and I want to talk about it. So I put it on the show doc. Uh, but we'll get to it. But thank you guys first and foremost for all the love on our last episode. That came out of absolutely nowhere. I feel like we put almost 0% effort into some of that episode, and somehow that's the one that went viral because that's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
But as always, here on the show, I am joined by my co host, Richie Flores, who is the world's #1 purveyor of hacks gifts.
Correct. I am joined by my co-host Jordan, who, at this point, to add on to your point, our entire text thread between you and I is literally just hacks gifts. Like, it's bad. We have curated the singular and Guinness World Record level ability, honestly, to communicate only in hacks gifs and like we
Exclusively.
and can hold a conversation. It's bad,
Yeah.
y'all. It's
No,
bad.
it's
This is what
not
happened.
bad.
We're
That's an
withdrawals.
achievement. I feel like that's an achievement. Bad is some. It's not a problem until you admit that it's a problem.
Yeah.
So we're good. Let's not worry about it.
So true. This is what happens when we are on hiatus now. So we have, you know,
Yeah, we had to see Jean Smart on our TVs this week at the Tony Awards instead,
yes.
which was also awesome. But yeah, I want to talk about the internet's weird obsession with. I don't. They're like these little cuddly creature things. I don't know if you remember, but like a handful of years ago, it was those little octopi that like had a happy face and a sad face, and you could turn it inside out to be either happy or sad. I don't know, but that was a thing. Like a handful of. I'm not that old, I swear.
Just
But
keep going. Keep going.
yeah, I don't know.
Because
But like a
I got
handful of
nothing
years
here.
ago, like kids were obsessed with those, and then it was like Squishmallows. I don't know if that's the exact like arc that it took chronologically, but I've seen so many people nowadays that will just like drive around, leave the tag sticking out. That will just like drive around
Continue.
with the little squishy plush things like in their car window, like whether it's in the front window or like in the back window. But I feel like our obsession with little squishy plush creatures has gone too far. Because what is a labubu?
I don't know. I don't know what these are. I haven't been in this corner of
You
the
really?
internet.
I feel like you've seen it. Cause didn't you send me something? Oh, maybe it just came up on my
I don't
thing.
know.
But
I probably did. Either we or I had sent something to each other, having no idea what it was, just because it's funny, and I don't know. I'm
like, how do I describe it? It's like it's a little squishy stuffed animal thing, but it kind of looks like Where the Wild Things Are, like the old cartoon book. But the scary thing about it is the teeth. Why is it cute and cuddly all over, and then it has these like razor sharp shark teeth?
okay. I'm looking this up. Okay, they're called Labubu dolls. Yeah, it's like out of Japan, and these are the scariest looking goddamn things you'll ever see in your life.
They're so weird looking.
I'm gonna bring one. I'll bring up a picture. Why?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Are you supposed
people
to
are
be for
obsessed with those.
children?
They're no, but like I don't. It's like a sign of affluence or something. It's like a status symbol. I've seen people taking Labubus and like clipping them onto a Birkin bag, which like first of all, I don't care about whether you have a Birkin or not. It could be $5 from Walmart or a Birkin, and I wouldn't know the difference. But like people are taking these stupid things and clipping them on their bags or on their backpacks or whatever it is. But they're so strange looking, and like, why is this the thing that we got obsessed with? That it's $145 for that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what? But why? Like, why does if you take away the face, that thing is okay. But if you put the face there, it is. I think as a child, I would have had a nightmare about something that looks
No, I don't
exactly like
like
this.
these. Yeah, like I mean, when we were kids, there's Beanie Babies that people were into, and those were dope. I used to have Beanie Babies, and
Right.
they were sick, and they were adorable, and they were cute. And then I think I still have some lying around out there somewhere. Maybe not Beanie Babies, but close to it.
Like
Um,
the ones that your parents convinced you might be worth money someday. You're like, don't throw those
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I have one. I have a little plush toy that's like a little Gonzo from the Muppets.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's out there
Yeah.
somewhere, hanging off my lamp.
Those or like I don't know if your relatives, like older relatives, ever had these or like people that you knew, but like those porcelain baby doll things, I think they were called like precious moments or precious memories or something. I think there's almost exactly an episode of Bob's Burgers where Linda gets obsessed with these things. Now I'm just like spiraling, but it's like little babies and she like is obsessed with collecting these little porcelain baby dolls. But I'm like, why did we go from how also did we go from like those porcelain baby dolls to like sunny angels? I don't know if you've seen those too. They're like weird naked. They're like naked baby charms or something. They like have a butt, I'm pretty sure, and people like stick them on their cell phone. It's weird. But we went from like that to Sunny Angel to like Labubu, and then I sent you this thing today, and apparently there's another one. I had to write it down because I forgot what it was called. But it's called a Hasi Poo Poo. I'm like, we're just making up words now. It's like, what in the metamucil abracadabra abra unana is this? We're just
Well,
making up. We're inventing words.
yeah, I'm gonna try. Okay, what is it called? A Haas,
I think
Hossie, like
this
Haas.
is no, but like this is the way that I spelled it. I don't know if it's right. It's like Hacipupu. You could probably put an S in there somewhere if I'm wrong, but
I
again, it's
see.
like a weird anthropomorphized doll thing.
Haas. Is it this one? No, I'm not seeing anything on the internet, so I'm just gonna
Oh,
take your word for it.
yeah, you probably should not do that, but it's fine. Hacipupu. I'm gonna stop saying that. I don't want to. I'm good. I got it. I'm gonna explode. I'm gonna be vaporized if I have to say that word anymore. This is dumb. Like, stop inventing weird little collectible things that are like status symbols, you guys, because I'm sick of it. Okay. We are attempting to condense our format this week because we always just have so much music and music news to talk about that I think we're going to try to condense it into a segment where we like pick a couple of tracks for the week or pick a couple of artists or something based on like what's going on, what we're listening to. So that way we try not to go an hour and 30 minutes every episode. So I think as a community, we have noted Manchild by Sabrina Carpenter and we have noted Drug Dealer by Medium
Mm-hmm.
Build. Am I
Correct.
correct in that assumption? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Both of those are great. The Jackie Antonoff beat boop is back with a vengeance.
See, I told you when they first of all, both you were very, very annoyed. I think I woke up to a text from you. It was like, "Where's Sabrina?" Question mark or something like that. Because you were like, because you thought it was going to be released at like midnight or whatever, and then we get halfway through the day. I'm like, "Where is it?" And no, it
Yeah, I
came
was
out
at
like,
work and I just like thought about it. I'm like, oh, wasn't there a new song that was supposed to come out today? And like I was scrolling through it. I'm like, where is it? Where is she? She's not out.
and yeah, she put it out at 8 p.m. Eastern, Manchild, and I texted you like after I had listened to it because I forgot that it had come out because I was making dinner, I think, and it turns out, and yeah, and I texted you. I was like, I think Jack Antonoff put drugs in this song because it is so addicting. I was listening to it a little bit earlier. I was watching the music video, and it's like, yeah, it's whatever Jack puts into these Sabrina songs. It's just like instant crack, instant cocaine. Can't stop listening to it.
Yeah. He's got that thing, whatever it is. It's the audible synth. I don't know what even to call it. Amazing diss track, I guess we could call it that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. I might have been expecting something more akin to Song of the Summer. I don't know if this is that for me, at least not yet. It didn't immediately settle into that role for me. It might get there, but it's good. It's a good little soundtrack to a summer road trip, perhaps. I think I put it on the Be Gone playlist.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. I second that motion. My favorite part of the music video is when she goes like she's sitting in like the hot tub and she goes, "Hey men," and it cuts to the two pigs. I was like, "Oh god,
Yeah,
let's go."
funny, very funny. I think somebody was saying like they're theorizing that Sabrina Carpenter has a secret Letterboxd account because several of her past music videos have included very like film homage sequences.
Yeah.
So they're like, what is she watching? What is she logging? She's got this in her recent activity.
Release the letterbox, Sabrina. Put it
Yeah,
out
didn't
there.
who did that recently? Was it Charlie XCX that put her Letterboxd out there?
I think it was Charlie, and then I think didn't we like the internet went and accidentally found somebody else? And I want to say it wasn't Dua Lipa, but it was maybe it was, but it was like one of those.
Somebody.
It was one of the pop girlies, and they went and they found this the person's. Actually, no, I think it was Charlie. I think you're right. Like they went and found like somebody went and found the account, and then Charlie was like, "Yeah, that's me."
I think that did happen where they
Yeah.
were like, we found this, is this you? And then eventually she was like, yeah, this is me. And then everybody started following Charlie
Yeah.
on Letterboxd. I think I'm following Charlie on Letterboxd. I just want to see what she has to say. Speaking of Letterboxd, or do we want to continue on this?
No, we continue because we
Yeah, we continue because you have picks. I also have
Yeah.
picks, but I'm gonna let you go
Yes.
first because I think you feel strongly about your picks.
I have two. To which we made a bet before the show, or at least I made a bet. You think you were able to discern what my picks were going to be,
I do.
and
I promise you I know.
I called bullshit on that, and I said no,
No.
you don't. There's no freaking way. I did give you a little bit of a hint, but I don't know if it was big enough for you
it
to
was.
ascertain
Yeah,
what it
it
was.
This is going viral immediately because I got you. I know.
No, you don't. You
promise I
absolutely,
do.
you absolutely do not.
I promise I do.
Okay, so yeah, we made a bet before the show, and I was like, if you get this right, I will Venmo you $10 so you can go get some matcha on your way to work tomorrow.
Yeah,
and-
I can already feel it leaving your wallet and entering my Venmo app. I can. I hear the cha-ching calling to me that I've just been paid on
all right,
Venmo.
genius. Then what the hell is it?
Well, okay, so just to give you the most satisfaction out of this while I drain money from your Venmo and the light from your eyes, I'm gonna let you decide, because I know. I'm so sure I know. I'm gonna let you tell me whether you want to hear the name of the band, the date of the show, or the name of the album that they're releasing, because I have all that info on you.
Dude, did you go to the flippin' Etsy witches for this?
No, I just hacked your Ticketmaster. I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. But I'm gonna let you tell me what you wanna hear.
Just tell me. Just in order here. I don't. Yeah,
So, fairly
I'm gonna try
certain.
and stone face by this.
I'm fairly certain. I've consulted the energy and the witches, and they tell me that the show is August 30th because the album's coming out on the 29th, and the band is called the Technicolors. And the album is called, hold on, don't have that in front of me. It is called Heavy Pulp, and it releases on the
How the
29th.
fuck did you know that?
me.
You
Pay
son
me.
of a bitch!
Pay me.
God
Bring
damn you!
You
What the
wanna know how I
hell?
know? No, you want to
What
know
the
how I
hell?
know?
Did it show up as like?
tell you.
Did it? Go ahead.
No, I'll tell you. Because this is so funny. Because I am, if nothing else, my superpower is like capital N noticing. I just notice things. And you added one of their songs to the Be Gone playlist. And I was going through there and I was listening to it. And I was like, this is actually pretty good. I was like investigating, kind of going through there. And then when you told me earlier it was an album release show, I was like, who's releasing stuff lately? So I went on that. There's like a website where you can see who's releasing stuff. Because I almost guessed Wet Leg.
Ah,
because they are
yes.
releasing
Another
something.
great
And
band. Yes.
yeah,
Thank you. They are playing
releasing
Phoenix, I think. Yeah.
something, and they are, but it's in like October, and I think they're releasing in June or July or something. So it didn't quite line up. And I knew you weren't going to Heim because that's also coming out soon, but those were expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And I was scrolling through there trying to see what names I recognized, and I recognized that one. And then I went and did a little digging and found that the dates lined up. And I was like, I got you. Cash. Run me my
God.
check.
The Venmo will be coming after the show.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
But anyway, yes. Go listen. They have 2 songs out. One is called Posh Spice, which is the one I put on the playlist.
It's good.
And then they also put out a song just a couple weeks ago called Softcore, which is also great. And so I'm going to put that on the playlist too. And so those are my picks. Softcore and Posh Spice by the Technicolors. Technicolor is one of my favorite local Phoenix bands. They put out, I've seen them live several times, and they're great. They haven't put out any new music since before COVID, which is crazy. Like their last album, I listened to it like constantly. It was terrific. It was called Cinema Sublima. Great album. And then they haven't put out any. I thought they were gone and off the face of the planet and like didn't exist anymore. And then they're like, oh yeah, at the beginning of the year they started teasing this. So great music. Can't wait. Shout out to you for figuring that out, Sherlock Holmes. Jesus.
Big brain moment. I have the brain cell today.
Yes, absolutely.
I do. Okay. I would say my picks for this week. Let's say I have 3 picks. I'm just choosing. I'm choosing one by. Yeah, I'm gonna choose one by 2 artists that I've seen this week and one that I've seen a meme about this week. So my pick is Hams in a Glass by Winona Fighter, and because that was solid live. We'll talk about that. I went and saw their concert literally last night as we're recording this, which is why I'm sleep deprived. And I'm gonna choose Selfish by Good Boy Daisy. Also seen last night. Great show. And then the third one I'm choosing is not for a music related reason, but for a meme related reason, which is Sports Car by Tate McRae. Do you want to lead into this? Because you told me I could put this on the show this week.
You could put it on the show. I think that's the perfect transition. This was all you, homie. This was
This was me. Yeah. I saw a video because I don't know why, but I was indoctrinated onto Tate McRae TikTok or something. I listened to her. I think she's great, but I didn't ask to be put over there. The algorithm just decided I needed to be put over there all of a sudden. But I wish I could remember the name of this creator, but she was cleaning up a dead cockroach from her room, or at least like assumed dead. But in order to muster up the courage and the willpower to remove this assumedly dead cockroach, she was like disposing of it by blasting Sports Car by Tate McRae through my headphones. And she's got this, she like made this amazing cut that is just, she's juxtaposed her own screams over it and the real life like sounds and the footage and the cuts. It's incredible. But it's just her using the courage of that song to take care of an insect problem. And I think I told you that I'm going to be employing that method every time I have to deal with a spider in my home.
You did. Yeah. Yeah. You sent me a video just like a day or 2 later.
There was one. I was like, what are you doing here, dude? Here's my policy on them, because I used to be really afraid of them. But my policy now is like, as long as you're not hanging out like where I can see you and you're in my way, I'm going to let you chill. Like it's whatever. As long as it's like a house spider, I'm like, okay, whatever. But if I see you and first of all, if I see you, but second of all, if I see you and you scare me, then that relationship can't be repaired anymore. And it's time for you to go. It's time for you to get evicted or start paying rent. Pick one. But they never choose to pay rent. So they always get evicted from life, I guess. Yeah.
I had an argument, well, not an argument, but a spirited discussion with some friends of mine lately about, they were all like, oh, if you see a scorpion or you see a spider and they're like, "Oh, you gotta get rid of them immediately." And I was trying to explain to them, I'm like, "No, they're just trying to live, man. Just trying to live. You don't need to be that scared of them." And I was
You
like,
see,
"But I'm
scorpions are a little bit different, I feel.
maybe I don't know. I'm not scared of scorpions. I think they're cool. Just don't, just maybe for pet's sake." And they all like they're most of my friends are pet owners, and so I can get that. I understand. Don't want your dog to be stung by a scorpion. That's probably not a good thing. But I was like, most of the time, like, they're just trying to live, man. It's, I'm a hippie when it comes to bugs and insects. I think they're cool. I
Do
think
you
they're
relocate a bug if it's inside, or do you just
yes,
like let it?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There was a once in a while there will be cockroaches that somehow find their way into my apartment, and yeah, and I'll just I'll hunt them down. 'Cause they're really hard to like catch sometimes. I get you. There was a time I think it was like several months ago. I don't know how long this was. Maybe like 6 months ago. And I spent 30 minutes trying to track down this dang cockroach because he was so evasive. And I had a broom and I had the I don't know what the hell you call it, the pan or whatever, the bread, not the broom pan thing.
Oh, like
Yeah,
the dustpan? Yeah.
this pan. Yeah, thank you. And so I had that,
Rudiment.
and like so I had to like kind of get him off the ceiling onto the ground, and then and I put him in the thing, and then I just dropped him off outside. It was great. It was like, go away, or not go away, but like, goodbye.
Be gone.
Yeah, be gone.
Be
And I
gone.
was like, let them live, man. There's
Yeah, but they fly. That's a whole different thing.
be nice. I named him too. I think what I named, I forgot what I named him. It was like Oscar or Steven or Francis or something like that.
All right. You know what? Green flag. I think that's a green flag that you relocate insects.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so.
We're all just trying to live. It's just not because just because we're on top of the food chain doesn't mean we just go around killing smaller things just because we can. No, that's messed up. Like, how would we like it if aliens came to our planet and they just like War of the World style murdered us all? No, that's not fun. That's not cool. I don't like
No, it's
that.
not
No,
cool. There's
we're
like
just
a
trying to
billion
live,
movies
man.
about why that's not cool. Yeah. We've been there. Tom Cruise has probably been in 9 of them. Yeah.
That's so true. So in fear of reciprocation from killing killing the smaller things on the planet, you know, it's like the putting out the goodwill
Sure.
to the bugs
You're,
and insects, and
you're
hopefully
putting
I get
out
a
good energy into the universe and hoping it
yeah
comes back to you for
yeah
doing a good deed. All right.
yeah
I see you. Okay. All right. I'll I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Okay. That's all I have to say about that. But speaking of movies, let's talk about you watched how many movies this week?
Let's see. Okay, so today is the 10th, right? Yes, we're recording on the 10th, and I watched since June 3rd, which was exactly a week ago. I've watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movies.
Oh my god. Okay. Give us a brief rundown.
I've
What was
watched
on your
more
list?
movies this week than Jordan has, I believe, in the last 6 months.
At least like the last 3 months, probably. Because I was on a kick there for a little bit in like January. I think I got a lot of movies done in January, and then I kind of maybe a couple in February, and then I kind of trailed off. I've only watched one movie so far this month, and I think I maybe had like 2 all of last month.
Yeah, so I'm back on a movie kick. For a while there, I was on TV show kick, so I was watching, a lot of TV and stuff like that, and then now I'm back on my movie kick. And so, yeah,
Again, we're filling the void left by Hacks on Thursdays.
exactly. So yeah, I'll just go kind of in order and run through them super quickly. Okay, so coming out in a couple weeks, is a new movie called 28 Years Later, zombie movie, starring, one of our favorites, Jodie Comer is in the movie. She's been doing press lately. So I've sent you plenty of press photos of Jodie Comer showing up on the red carpet.
Can I briefly interlude that, because one of the
Yeah.
funniest things that you sent me was the other day,
Yeah.
and it was like I think I texted you something, and here it is, I found it. And I texted you something and then you didn't reply, but it was like fairly late. It was think like 10:30 my time or something. And you replied the next day at 1 o'clock my time or whatever it was. You were like, apologies for not replying last night. I was busy. I was working, so I was barely on my phone. I was like, okay, it wasn't urgent. I've texted people more important questions that they don't reply to, and I sent that at 1:02 p.m. And then at 1:03 p.m. I get a text from you that says urgent with the double exclamation point emoji. And it's, the Jodie Comer magazine shoot, but it was just funny. I was like, it wasn't urgent. Don't worry about it. And then you were immediately like, this is urgent. I'm like, okay, but it is, girl. I get it. Good exchange.
Anyway, so I went back. I've never seen the original 28 Days Later and
Neither
28
have I.
Weeks Later. Never seen them. So I watched those. Solid movies. They're fine. Give them 3.5 stars. So I want to do that before watching the new one. And then I just went on like a random, I was bored. I was like, I need to watch a movie. And I was scrolling through the Paramount thing went down a rabbit hole. And I was like, you know what I've never seen? The Hunt for Red October. So I watched Hunt for Red October with Sean Connery.
The original one? Because wasn't there a remake like recently?
Probably, yes, but this is the one with Sean Connery from 1990.
There was, oh no, it was something else recently, but
It is a Jack Ryan movie, so maybe that's why.
no, but there was, I don't know what it was called. Red Dawn. There we go. It was called Red Dawn.
Red Dawn, completely
Not
different.
Red October, but there
Yeah.
was a Red Dawn movie in 2012.
So yeah, Hunt for Red October, solid movie, good movie. Funny though that Sean Connery is playing a Russian, and
With his accent?
with his like strong accent, and I was like Scottish accent. I was like, that's not right. It's really funny because this was at a time, where like it was still in the 1980s, and so the Cold War was still going on. So I think they were just afraid to cast Russian actors playing Russians, and so the entire
Yeah.
Russian sub is cast with a bunch of like pretty well known like English actors at the time. If you go back and look at the cast list, I'm like, oh, he's in that movie. He's in that movie. Oh yeah, they're all good actors, but they're all English. I think there's one American as well. I'm like, okay, thumbs up for realism, I guess.
Yeah, good try.
Okay. Followed that up with Patriot Games, which is like the next, like that was another Jack Ryan movie because I go on kicks where I'll watch movie series, and so like that is like a part of the Jack Ryan series, which I've never seen, and so I watched that. Not very good. Dad movie, 90s. Yeah. Follow that up
Bring
with
Down the River Kwai. Yeah.
Follow that up with Queen of the Ring. Now this is the new Emily Bell Ricard's movie. This is this about like the beginning of like the origins of women wrestlers in the 50s and 60s. And actually a really interesting story. And like Emily Bell Ricard's, who played Felicity Smoke in On Arrow, just like absolutely freaking jacked for this movie. My goodness, like she's a tank in this movie. And I gave it 3 stars. Good movie. Liked it.
Good.
Watched Almost Famous for the first time last night. Have you seen this one?
I have not seen it all the way through. I think I started it and saw bits and pieces, but that's the one that has Jimmy Fallon in it, right?
Jimmy Fallon jump scare. Yes.
Yeah. That was like the jump scare before they started putting James Corden in everything, was like
Yes.
sometimes Jimmy Fallon was in things and it was
Yeah.
like, oh God, what are you doing here?
And he was not like he was literally just Jimmy Fallon. He's just not
Yeah.
a good actor, bro. Anyway, so I watched that. Gave it 4 stars. Really, cool movie, cool soundtrack. Based on the life of the actual writer and director of the movie, Cameron Crowe. So, and it was like about a teenager who goes out on the road with the band and writes a piece for Rolling Stone, and it was a true story, and that's how he started his career, which is like wild to me.
Super cool.
but yeah.
Would never happen nowadays, but like,
Yeah,
cool.
exactly. And then the final movie I have to get to is I simply put in the doc Anna de Armas Appreciation. Are you an Anna de Armas fan?
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't need any more justification on that, but I'm gonna let you talk about it. I'm like, hey, I'm in. Say less.
I love Anna de Armas. She's great. I have been a big fan of hers ever since Blade Runner 2049. and she played like Joy, like the AI in that movie. And she's in the new movie Ballerina, which is the John Wick spinoff. And I was like, going in, like, oh, Ana de Armas, can she really pull this off? And she
'Cause
crushes
I
it,
think I
man.
first saw her in Knives Out, and then
Yeah.
was she a Bond girl for a second, or
Yes, she was in No Time to
one of the
Die.
Craig
Yeah.
movies?
Yeah, she was in No Time to Die.
Yeah. I was like, she could do an action movie.
Yes, and she was great in it. And again, this is the most straight dude thing I've ever said in my life, which is just glazing Ana de Armas for 5 minutes, but it is true. And so if you go and read my Letterboxd review, I just said Ana de Armas could break my arms, and I'd say thank you.
That's the kind of review I would write. I love that for you. I love that energy. We should normalize that, being like, you know what? She could slam me in a door. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay,
like, I don't.
confession,
I don't
though,
like doing. I do not
I've
like
not
doing
seen the
that.
John Wick. No,
Yeah.
I know you don't. I've not seen a John Wick, any of them, or any of the spin-off ones. Mm-hmm. Or, okay. Also, other confession, I thought that Dev Patel movie, Monkey Man, was like also in the John Wick universe. I don't think
It should
that's
be.
true.
It might as well be. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think that's true. I
It's
think
very
just, like,
similar.
kind of a ripoff, but what is, because my understanding is just in the first John Wick movie, wasn't this all because some like hitman killed his dog?
Yes.
How are we on John Wick like 75? Love Keanu, by the way.
yeah.
Keep that man employed. As long
That's
as
a
he
great
wants to do
question.
it,
Here's the
but-
thing. The great thing about the John Wick movies, you don't watch them for the story because there is none. You just watch it because the action sequences are badass.
Yeah. All right, that's fair.
Plain and simple. Like, you think I care what happens to John Wick? Not really. No. Outside of the first movie, I just want to see cool action sequences, and that's yeah. And you get that in Ballerina. There's some. I don't want to spoil the movie by any means. I don't know if you're gonna watch it. I don't think it's the John Wick movies and this movie just aren't really your style of movie. I think really.
I might. I don't know. Don't do any major spoilers, but you could talk about it because I'll probably forget too. I have like short-term memory loss.
I'll just say the best sequence in the movie involves a flamethrower, and it's sick as hell.
Metal. All right, I'm in. I'm gonna load that up right now.
And that has been
Yeah.
Richie watches 7 movies in 7 days.
Well done, actually. That's kind of an achievement. I watched one. You should be proud of me too. I watched.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I watched Death Becomes Her, which I've seen before, but I needed to log it because I knew that it was a 5-star movie for me, and I needed to go
Right.
add to my collection of 5 stars in that curve. And it went on streaming recently. So the other night I was hyper fixating on working on my project for San Diego Comic-Con, and I totally lost track of time and realized I really hadn't eaten, and it was like 5 o'clock. And I did take after you. I learned a thing from you, which is that I went and ordered my Domino's for pickup because it was cheaper to go do it on carryout instead of having it delivered to me.
Nice.
So
See?
I went and did that. And I put on a film. I put on a feature film and then sat and ate a pizza and, relished the spoils of my work.
So you were the one who had me watch Death Becomes Her for the first time, and I watched it, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or so, prior to Letterboxd, when I got Letterboxd for the first time. I really enjoyed it, man. It's a good movie. I liked it. Bruce Willis
It's
before
totally camp, but like
Bruce Willis before
great.
he became super famous. Meryl Streep is in it. Hail Meryl, she's awesome. And
Goldie Hawn.
And Goldie Hawn, yeah, it's a fun movie. I quite enjoyed it. Now a Broadway musical, and did it win Tonys? Did it win?
I don't. Well, I think it won. It didn't win for the categories I think it was projected to win for, but that doesn't mean it didn't win any of those background ones. It's like costume, set design, lighting, like any of those other technical Tony Awards. But that would have been crazy to try and have to decide between. Death Becomes Her went 1 for 10. That's crazy.
Oh wow.
It's incredible. It's getting rave reviews on stuff. It is, the clips that I've seen from the production are really, really funny. Both lead actresses are not necessarily like yet Broadway royalty, but they're certainly among the court. and it's supposed to be amazing, but you never know. The Tony voters do stupid stuff sometimes, like
Right.
snubbing Audra McDonald. We could talk about the Tonys because this is on the podcast too, but it's on the notes.
Yes. I didn't, again, these were on Sunday, so I paid no attention to it. Other than a couple of clips that I saw. So, which the one part that I saw was the Hamilton reunion, which was awesome. But other than that, I really didn't see much. So you might have to take the reins on this discussion here.
I didn't watch too much because I don't know. The last couple of years, I've been less invested in the run of shows, and frankly it's been hard to follow because so much stuff has been opening and closing abruptly. The landscape of Broadway is very different than it was even a handful of years ago, when stuff would be guaranteed at least to have a little bit of a run, but a lot of things will like open and then close. You're like, wait a minute. So it's very difficult, I think, to keep up with all of it, but I saw that Cola Scola won for their performance in Oh Mary, which is, I think it's a play. I don't
Correct.
think it's a musical. I think it's a play.
Yes.
And it's like a parody spin on Mary Todd Lincoln, which whoever came up with this, creative genius. But that got well rewarded. Sunset Boulevard with Nicole Scherzinger got well rewarded. I think she was chosen for Best Actress, and I think Audra McDonald should have gotten it. I don't really know that much about this year's season, but it might have also both of them are revivals. So Sunset Boulevard and Gypsy are both revivals, which is a little bit different than like new musical as well. But anyway, just watch that performance of Rose's Turn, and then tell me that we shouldn't have given that woman all the awards. The Hamilton reunion was great. Cynthia Erivo was great. Everything I saw from her was awesome. She was very animated, very interactive with the crowd. Like, I think the general vibe of the room is always just like put a bunch of theater nerds together.
Yeah.
And then see what happens. And they're all so talented. Like, every individual there can sing and dance and act within an inch of their life. Or they're a creative in that field. And it seems like it would be a fun room to be in.
I did see, I thought it was kind of funny, kind of cool actually, that, last year the Tony Awards were hosted by, why can't I remember? Ariana DeBose. I think we actually talked about her on the show last year. And then, Ariana DeBose reprised her role as the, Bullet in the Hamilton, the Hamilton part of the set. And I thought that was great. It's like, this woman is a Academy Award winning actress, and just shows up as part of the ensemble in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Which was
the power that Hamilton still holds 10 years later. It's
yeah.
like, yeah, we picked the right musical from the start. And I think they're bringing a lot of the original cast back for a limited engagement or something like that, but it's going to be crazy for like the 10th anniversary. They're bringing
Right.
back a lot of the original cast members, and those tickets are going to be through the roof.
Oh yeah. I know. I saw the announcement that Aaron Burr is returning. Leslie Odom Jr. Sorry, yeah. I don't know why I completely spaced on his name, but yeah, he's returning as Aaron Burr, which is
They're
really
the same
sick.
person. They're the same person. Just let it go. Yeah.
Aaron Burr back from the dead to perform as himself in Hamilton the musical.
I think you'd be horrified. I think real Aaron Burr would be horrified. Be like, what is this? What did you do? What did you do? You've made a mockery of this. Yeah, crazy stuff. But we gave that an award this week, was Cynthia. So
Yeah. I sent you that they are bringing back Mamma Mia to Broadway. I'm gonna be buying our tickets. Are we going? Okay. First of all, I would just like to point out that I sent you that it was coming back, which I think it was announced a couple months ago, and I just missed it.
yeah,
But and I was like, And I originally read the thing that it was only going to be open for like, it was like a special engagement. It was like only in August. I was like, damn. But you informed me that it is indeed going to stay open until February of next year. So we got time.
Yeah, the
We got
first
time.
like 2 weeks of every show's run are just like previews, so it's essentially
Yeah.
like dress rehearsal. We do have time. You have time to decide. But we have to potentially coordinate that around the return of Beetlejuice to Broadway. They're bringing the
Oh,
national
yeah.
tour back for I think even a shorter amount of time. Like it's not very long. But that would be crazy. And then of course we're going to Singapore for the Grand Prix next year. So
The one in Asia?
what other ones do you know of? But yeah, we have a lot of little treat trips potentially planned that we may or may not actually do because money is an object in our lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless somebody wants to finance us for this. And if you want to finance us for this, can you also finance me Miss Possessive tour tickets? Thanks. I was looking at those because I was like, I'll drive to Chicago, whatever. They're like
Yeah.
$500. Like,
For,
no,
wait,
sorry.
for what? For who?
For Tate McRae.
For Tate?
Yeah. They're like $500.
That's
Now,
ridiculous, bro.
That's to sit at a reasonably close distance. Well, she's got
Yeah.
a lot of fans now.
I guess. Golly.
But like in the, 100 level or the 300 level ring, like that's somewhat attainable, but you'll be watching on the screen the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
So it is what
Can
it
I
is.
make a confession to you? I think you know this
Yeah.
about me, but I'm not a Tate McRae fan. I think she's
That's a bummer.
like
'Cause I
her
put
music.
a lot of it on the playlist.
Yeah. Like her music. I'm just not into her music. I think she's obviously she's a trained dancer, so she can
Yeah.
dance like nobody's business.
I just
So it's
don't know
not-
if you've heard the right music.
I've heard some of this music, like the song that she did for the F1 soundtrack. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
is terrible.
Oh, girl, that's the song of the summer. Don't touch me on this.
That
Yeah.
no, I'm not even playing it. Like I just don't. I don't. It's like what I like. Her music reminds me a lot of Charlie XCX, where it's like that's just not. I don't like that genre of music, right? Like Lady Gaga is like very dance music, party music type. You can put Lady Gaga on and have a great time. And
Yeah.
and Mayhem is great, and I love that. I love Mayhem, but like.
I just don't think you're
But
listening
I
to the
can't.
right ones.
I can't get into Charlie, and I can't get into Tate. And don't get me wrong, Tate again. This is again. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, as the resident straight man on the show.
Resident man on the podcast. Yeah.
Resident straight man on the show. She is very attractive. Don't get me wrong.
Not
I
during
was-
Pride Month, Richie. Not during Pride Month.
Yes. Happy Pride. Happy.
Happy Pride. Let's talk about Tate McRae. Anyway, yeah.
Like the music video for the F1 song thing.
See, I didn't like the music video at all. Watch the Two Hands music video. That one's better.
Okay. Oh, watch Tate McRae. Okay.
Yeah.
We're good. That sold.
Homework.
Listening to
You
Tate-
have homework.
Listening to Tate McRae.
I just
Watching
don't
Tate
think
McRae.
you've heard the right Tate McRae. I'll put you on. Don't worry about it. Well, and it's also taken a very different track. That's like she's leaned a lot more into like Britney pop kind of,
Yeah.
for lack of a better word, like in the last, almost more so in just like the last album cycle. But if you trace it back a little bit, it wasn't always like that. She started out making like sad girl music, if you can believe it. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Let's see. We have homework to do. Let's move on before we get too sidetracked.
Yeah. I don't even remember what the
okay.
hell we were talking about before. Oh, we were talking about like Broadway. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I
we
would
were
love.
talking
It's always been on my bucket list to go see a Broadway show on Broadway. So hopefully we can make that happen.
I think you would love it. I really do.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Let's see. I was looking that up and then I got sidetracked as well. Beetlejuice comes to Broadway October 8th. But we're going to Singapore, so I don't know if we can be there for that.
The one in Asia.
What other one do you know of? I'll have you know that I was on Broadway with Beetlejuice. My art was on Broadway with Beetlejuice.
Yeah. That was sick.
2 summers ago? 3 summers? Oh my god. I've been out here a long time now. Let's not talk about it. Speaking of music, let's talk about this Lucy Dacus show that literally broke Boy Genius Source. It's, I think it was yesterday or the day before. I was only like halfway following.
Same too. But I thought like people were like they were like, please don't block us or whatever because they were just tweeting out the set list. And it was like, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Taylor's Nashville show. And it was
Yeah.
and it's like the TikTok that you made where it's just like getting shot like every next thing that pops off. Phoebe's opening. Oh, Boy Genius showed up.
Oh, Maddie Healy's here. Oh, we're playing Nothing New. Like I was being held at gunpoint and repeatedly shot. And Boy
oh,
Genius Source got in the vacuum of it.
yeah. I was gonna say. Oh, and Speak Now Taylor's version.
Yes, that was that night. Oh my God. This is all of that is that was rough for me.
Feels like
That was a
ancient
really
history.
rough day. Because I was so horrified when that soundcheck footage or like it was like an image from soundcheck that came out that Boy Genius was there and it was in Nashville. And I was on my phone at work Googling like how quick can I get to Nashville? Can I get a ticket? Like I'll just stand outside, whatever. But that was horrible because it was in close enough proximity to me where I could
Yeah.
just feel the aura of that seismic event occur.
Right. So yeah, that's
It
what
was
the Lucy Dacus fan request set list was basically as well.
it was I think on the set list the title they called it Total Request Live.
Yeah.
And the show was in Kingston. Yes, it was Kingston. It was an acoustic show. And there are lots of memes on Boy Genius Source of like the Krusty Krab exploding about every every song that got tweeted out. And it says, "Please stop blocking us. We're just the messengers." Where it was like Lucy played thumbs at the show, so I blocked Boy Genius Source, like all of that. Like and enough is enough. But it was also great choices by the fans. I don't know if they were pre-submitted or what. There were a couple that were denied. The Shell was denied and Direct Address was denied. But it was a great set. So sorry to everyone that wasn't there that had to get repeatedly bludgeoned on
Right.
Twitter.
She's been playing Bus Back to Richmond a lot, which is apparently, as far as I know, an unreleased track.
I
So,
think so. I'm not
which
familiar with it.
which people seem to really like. So hopefully I get to hear that live in September.
Yeah, that would be cool. It is, well, hard to discern if this is a Lucy original or if this is a cover of an existing song. I do not know. I don't
Oh,
have that info.
she played Afraid of Heights as well.
That's a great song. That's a
Hell
great
yeah.
track off of the rest. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
we
love the
don't we
rest.
don't
We love
talk
Boy
enough
Genius.
about the how great that EP is, but
We don't,
yeah.
but I saw you put some of it on Be Gone, so good choice. I think
Did
you put
I?
Powers on there.
I
Yeah.
think yeah, Powers. Oh, don't even get me started. That's still like one of my like S tier like JB songs
I would agree
up
with
there.
that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I Stay Down is in my S tier. I'm pulling back from the Boy Genius EP.
Yeah.
Okay, we could go on about this for like another 45 minutes. Before I close the show with Winona Fighter, let's talk about your one brain cell coffee moment that you have in the doc. What's happening here?
I teased this earlier and I forgot. And I'll tell you on this. I was like, oh, I'm going to bring this up on the show. Okay. So I went to go, cause I was out of coffee. So I couldn't make coffee at home. So I had to go and buy coffee from the local spot. And so I got my coffee, got my cold brew. And then afterwards I went to the, Fries and I, bought my coffee, some other stuff, sent you a picture of the Dolly Parton, syrup.
Yep.
Which is apparently a thing. It's like shaped like a guitar.
It's cool. It's good
Yeah.
branding. But yeah,
Yeah.
they have Dolly mixes for stuff like the biscuit mix and cornbread mix and pancake mix, and it's all in, pink Dolly packaging. I don't know. I've been to Dolly World, and I can tell you
Yeah.
that the cinnamon bread is like one of the best food items you might
Mm-hmm.
ever eat in your life. And I've tried desperately to recreate it without much success.
Right.
But if it's even half as good as that, like, I trust Dolly. I trust her.
So yeah, so I went, did my shopping. I had my coffee in the basket of the cart, and I kind of had it orientated so that way it was like it stayed where it was around the rest of the stuff. So it was like like stuck in place. And then I
Yeah.
went to go check out, and I finished checking out. I had paid, and then I was literally about ready to leave, and it fell out the back of the top of the cart, and I had only drank about this much of it,
Oh
like
no.
barely any. And
Yeah.
so yeah, it just mess. I go, oh
It just
fuck me.
ejected. It
I was
ejected
so
out of the.
I was so mad, and I felt so bad. And I was like, and the guy, I was in the self checkout lane, and the guy, I was like, hey man, can I get a mop over here? And I was like, and so I just like hung out there for a second, like while he went and got his thing. And I was like, and he's like, yeah, you're good to go. You can go ahead and you can take off. You already paid for your stuff. I was like, shit, sorry man, I feel so bad. So I had to throw away the rest of the coffee, and I go, shit, only drank like 90. I only drank 2% of this. So I walked back to the coffee shop, and I was like a sad child.
Oh no.
I was like,
Like, I
hey,
spilled my drink. Can I get
hi,
another?
I spilled my coffee at the fries. And the guy was like super nice. He's like, yeah, we'll get you another one.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, so the guy, yeah, he was like, yeah, we'll get you another one. So like, shout out to the local shop for hooking me up with a coffee that I
You can call
spilled.
out the local spot. What's the local spot?
It's called the Valley Buzz.
All right.
Valley Buzz Coffee Bar out here in Glendale, Peoria area.
Solid.
Yeah.
Is that the place that has the good matcha that you tried?
Yes.
Okay. I might have to hit that up if you're Uber driving me next week.
Yes, that's so true. Yeah, they're only on the west side though, so they have a couple west side places.
Word.
But yeah, shout out to them. So that's my one brain cell moment is spilling 90% of my coffee in the fries self checkout lane.
I'm
And I felt
sorry.
like, yeah, I was so sad. I was like, damn it.
It really does. It makes you feel bad for like a number of reasons because
Yeah.
usually like number one, your reason is like, well, it depends. I think it depends what kind of person you are as to what your number one guilt is about it, which is like your number one is there was still 90% of a drink left in that. Or your number one guilt could be, oh my God, I just did that in public and now someone has to clean it up. And
I
sometimes both
felt
of those things occur simultaneously. But
that's how me, I was like going through that at the same time. I was like, I will mop this up by myself.
yeah, you're
I
like, do
made
you have
this
paper
mess. I can
towels?
clean
Can
it
I
up.
do
I'm an
it?
adult. I am an adult. I can clean up myself. Like I don't. You poor person who's getting paid minimum wage do not have to clean up the mess I just made.
I remember one time that this is off topic, but I had a moment like that when I was working at the infamous big box retailer that starts with a W. Before I went to college, I think it was the summer before I went to college because it was the only place that would hire me. And I have so many trauma stories from working there, but like
Oh
one of
yeah.
them is that I think it was a full gallon of milk one time that I was working. I think I was doing because I was a cashier, but then sometimes they would put us over on the self check. But I think I was on a register, and I had put the gallon of milk like up against the bags, and the thing spins. And I think because of where I had put it, I like turned and like it caught the edge of the counter and like knocked this gallon of milk off, and then the whole thing spilled onto the floor. And I
Oh
was like, I don't even know whose fault this is because like you paid for it, but then it spilled before you got home. It's probably my fault, but I'm like, I
yeah.
can't leave and go get you another one, like as much as I want to. So then I'm pretty sure I had to like call a supervisor and be like, can you go get this lady another thing of
Yeah.
milk? And she was upset too. It was like some people could take that in stride, and she was upset. I was like, oh no, I don't have the tolerance for this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna burst into tears. And I'm pretty sure the next day they put me on self-checkout like the whole day as some sort of like timeout, but my bad. I didn't mean to do it. Here we are. We
Yeah,
survived.
both of
That's the
us
moral of the
have
story.
grocery store horror stories, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Although, albeit my time at Sprouts wasn't too bad. Actually, I was there for a year. I actually like my time there. It was fun. I don't really have
Yeah.
any horror stories, truly. I don't think, but
I don't feel like it would have been as traumatic as some other places.
yeah,
But you never,
I agree
yeah,
with
you
that.
never know. You never
Yeah,
know. If you have a good workplace, appreciate what you have.
yeah.
Okay, let's wrap it with the concert I went to see last night. It was Winona Fighter was the headliner, opening with Good Boy Daisy and Lips Speak Louder. They're from Nashville. I'd never heard of them. I had maybe in passing heard a Winona Fighter song, but I mostly went for Good Boy Daisy. You and I are both fans. They are local. Why did my mom just text me? She called me before the show, but like we were getting ready to record, and I just texted her back. I was like, "We're recording. I can call you if it's urgent or whatever." And she just texted me and goes, "You should have picked up. I could have been a guest on the show and given my review on Mission Impossible."
Ah!
So maybe I'll make her do that next week or something. I don't know. I'm debating making my parents record a segment with me. Anyway, I went to the show and Winona Fighter was awesome. I'm actually currently in the t-shirt, so they were good enough to buy the damn t-shirt. They gave out these, you might appreciate this. It's a little trading card of the
Oh
band
yeah.
for the first couple of folks that got in the door. It has the date of the show and then
Oh,
some
that's
info
sick.
on
That's
their
really cool.
like album, and I think there's only says there were 100 of them printed, so I don't know if they're just kind of giving them out throughout the tour to different venues and stuff. But this is kind of cool. It's a cool little merch for the first people that walked in the door. And their you've never been to a show, but their crowd has such a strange and interesting makeup. Like there were 8 and 9-year-old children there, and then there were also dudes like crowd killing in the circle pit, and then everybody in between. It was such a like diverse but like cool lineup. But it seemed like mostly everybody that was there is either a current or former emo scene punk kid, essentially. So very cool, like very inclusive. Everybody was super kind and like respectful, even when they were moshing. It was like if you don't want to be in the mosh, like we're gonna keep it over here. But it was legit. They were going off for a bit. It was kind of funny. Cool crowd, and they themselves are very funny. There was a tech malfunction, and they were probably riffing for like 5 minutes on stage before we figured out that it was enough of a malfunction where they would get off, they would fix it, and then come back on because one of the guitars wasn't doing sound. It wasn't like a minor malfunction. It was like, this is not working. But they were just riffing with the crowd. They were talking. They were taking song requests for the overhead like mix system that just is like the I don't know, the pre-show playlist or whatever. They're like, what do you guys want to hear? And somebody requested Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson. It was obliged, and there was a big sing-along to Kelly Clarkson in the room, and a couple of other songs, but it was kind of fun. But the one thing I really loved is like they played their whole most recent album release, which is called My Apologies to the Chef. They played every song from that record, and then they also played a cover of Sabotage by the Beastie Boys. Because they introduced it. They were like, look, we know that some of you in this room don't know our stuff, or maybe have never heard of us, or you got dragged here tonight, or whatever. But we firmly believe that everybody that comes to a concert should be able to sing at least once. So we're gonna play this one, and it was pretty cool, and it was a good like mid-set amp up too to kind of like break things up, get people back into it, get it engaged because it was a pretty long set by the time they got on there and they got done. So would recommend. They're super cool if you're into any kind of pop punk scene recently. It's good stuff. And the whole ticket for that night was like female led, female fronted bands, which was
Mm-hmm.
also super cool. But yeah, I went for Good Boy Daisy. I've not seen them. I almost went to that concert, I don't know, a handful of years ago when they were doing like Rock the District.
Mm-hmm.
Do they still do that?
Yeah, they do it in the fall, so they'll probably do it up, here in the fall.
Yeah, they do they have like a couple of local bands do, or I don't know, they may not even be committed to being local bands, but they have a couple of bands do this big outdoor concert at like a shopping center. And they were doing one of those, and I almost went, and then something came up, I think, so I didn't go. So I'd never seen them, but you and I have been following for a handful of years now.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool to finally like get in on that. But I'll tell you, because I was at war with myself, my internal dialogue through this whole thing. It was like, is it weird to like show up, be in the front row, wearing the t-shirt? Like, does it make me seem like I don't know, entitled to like I'm a better than you fan? I was like, I kind of don't want to like present that. So I was really debating. I'm like, do I even go stand in the front? Maybe I'll just like not do that and I'll just stand off to the side. But I ended up making quote friends, I guess. I don't know. We were talking the whole time with some of the folks that were in line with me and they all wanted to go stand in the front. So I was like, I'm not ditching these people that I just met. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're cool. Let's hang out. So we were in the front and they went on and it was an awesome set. And I was I went to high school with them, which I think I've told you, but
Mm-hmm.
in like such an offhand way where it's like, yes, we were at the same giant public high school at the same time, but like,
Yeah.
did we really cross paths enough to have this be? And also, I was so under the radar in high school. I won't even say I was popular, but like, I was known of potentially in certain circles for the
Yeah.
equivalent of like 20 seconds when our hockey team was really good and
Yeah.
we won state that year.
Yeah.
So like anybody that was following our team's athletics a little bit probably knew about that. So, that was it. It wasn't like for any super cool reason.
Right.
So I'm like, I don't know. This is all so offhand and I don't want to like I'm assuming that they're going to be at the merch after the show or something and I really don't want to go say that because there's not a non-creepy way to ask somebody if they remember like going to high school with you.
Yeah.
Like this, I'm prepared to have the world's most awkward conversation. It's just like when your older adult relatives of a certain age, they'll talk to you and they're like, "Oh my, look at you! Like you got." I remember when you were like this tall, and it was like, you remember when like you came to our house and they just get this like twinkle in their eye and this glow, and they ask you if you remember this thing, and you just have to say yes, like that's the correct answer. Otherwise, you like snuff the light out of their eyes. I'm just envisioning all of this happening where they're like, this person is super weird. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna say that. I'm gonna be like, look, I'm also from Arizona. And then if it spirals into other questioning, it spirals into other questioning. I'm forgetting the most important part of this whole thing, which is that I have directly communicated with them before about stuff they've released. Like I'm on
Yeah.
Instagram hyping it up and we're talking about it and I don't know, but I that's maybe my fatal flaw is just I don't realize to what extent I might actually be
Mm-hmm.
connected with another person. I'm like, I don't know, I'm replaceable. So they finish the set, we're vibing, whatever, and I'm sending videos to you, I'm sending them to my parents, I'm like posting on Instagram or whatever it is. And I hang out for the second opener. I go to the bar to go get a water because I'm sweating at this point. Like, I'm not built for this. You get close to the stage and you're like moving and the lights are bright. You're like, I might die here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bunch of like 20 something girls in the first row, right? So, like, we're all trying our best to throw down, but we're slightly age limited. So, I don't know. I moved to the back for Winona Fighter's set and also just to I don't know be kind and convenient because like I don't really know their stuff. I'm like
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna dance and move around a little bit to it, but I want somebody who's a real fan to be able to be in the front row if they want
Mm-hmm.
to. So I ditch, I go to the back, and my phone buzzes, and it's this ominous notification in all caps that was just like I knew it was you, and I was like, what? So forgetting that I had posted that on my Instagram story, and one of the girls from the band had seen it. And they were like, okay, let's catch up after the show. So we go and hang out at merch, and they're super sweet. And one of their lovely photographers snagged me the set list, and I got it signed, and I have it framed.
Hell yeah.
And it was very nice to see them. And it turns out that sometimes people do remember you from high school, even if you were not popular. So, moral of the story.
Moral of the story.
Yeah. Moral
That's
of
funny.
the really weird story. Yeah.
I am, again, I think we've mentioned this before, but I am super bummed that their show here in Phoenix is on a Sunday night, and as of course is the one flippin' day that I have booked. And it's a busy show because two of our hosts are going to be in St. Louis, Missouri. One of our hosts is going to be in Mexico City, Mexico. And then I'm going to be the only one here in Phoenix holding down the fort in case shit hits the fan. So, unfortunately, I cannot go to the show, even though I really, really wanted to go. It's at Valley Bar, which is even better, which is like a 200...
to lure my dad into go. It's literally Father's Day, and we're going to a baseball game. But I'm like debating trying to lure him into that. Be like, but we could go. There's still tickets left. No, I don't.
Dude, Valley Bar is so sick too, because it's like, I think you've been there, right? Have you seen a show there before
so.
or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, anyway, it's like 200 people in there. Like it's the tiniest flicking tiny. Actually, Valley Bar, that's where the Technicolors are playing in August, which is awesome. So it's gonna be like 200 people. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be sick.
That's gonna be a good show.
But but anyway, yeah. So I am so damn bummed that I can't go, because GBD is great. I love them, and from when I was listening to Winona Fighter's album, and I actually really loved it. And I think I added it to my library as well. So
yeah, I put some of it on Be Gone so we can
sweet
refresh a little
heck
bit,
yeah,
but
heck yeah. I personally like the song that is called "You Look Like Phoebe Bridgers" or what is
you look like a drunk Phoebe Bridgers.
Yeah.
So funny. So funny. Yeah, there were people giving out friendship bracelets last night. It was crazy. The whole.
Please tell the story. Please tell the story of the text thing.
I'll tell it. Sure. So this is before they even go on, but there's somebody. So initially when I'm trying to figure out how to articulate it, but like initially when I roll up to the venue, I'm the first person there. I wasn't trying to be. I was only like 45 minutes early. I was like, there's probably going to be other people here. Like, I was trying not to go super early. And I pull up and there's nobody there. I'm like, oh, okay. So I do a lap of the venue just to like establish because I've not been to this side of it before. It's the opposite side of where I saw Friday Pilots Club like a couple of months ago or something. But it's the indoor venue there. So it's probably like a 300 or 400 capacity room. So I established where the entrance was, and then I just kind of did a little loop, walked around, was seeing what was around there, and just went back to my car and like sat there and doom scrolled for like 10 minutes, and then came back out and walked up, and there were people there, and one of which was one of the photographers that were there that night, and then one of the other fans, and she's seen them like 5 times, and she drove in from Chicago specifically for the show. So they were super cool. And we got to talking, and we were talking with some of the people around it. Like, once we got in, we were talking with some of the other people around us. And one of them was a real big Fall Out Boy fan. And I guess also they do friendship bracelet trading a lot at, like, Fall Out Boy shows. So she had a bunch of them made for different songs from the Winona Fighter album and was handing them out. And by luck or grace or whatever the hell you want to call it, I was handed a friendship bracelet that said Subaru. It is during Pride Month. The insinuation here, very funny, hysterical. I was laughing. I like took one look at it and I was like, "There's no way. There's simply no way." I don't know what everybody else around us got. It would also have been really funny if all of them said Subaru. It was just like, you get a Subaru bracelet, and you get a Subaru, just, whatever. But it was very funny, and I don't know, it was a good crowd. I guess we could speak to that again. Just the environment, it was cool.
We hadn't done we hadn't mentioned, because I think we were off the week. I saw Bartiz. Did we talk about that?
No, I don't think we did.
Yeah, we're way long in this episode. We can save it until next week.
Okay, we'll save it.
Yeah, we can save it because I forgot. Yeah, I forgot to mention the Bartiz show, which
Yeah,
was great. But yeah, we'll talk about that. We can talk about that next week.
I'm putting it in the document so we don't forget about it.
Yeah.
Bring evidence. Bring photo evidence and show
Side
and
note,
tell.
I was actually pretty bummed because just as a teaser, I think I mentioned this, but like I bought the tickets to go see Bartiz, obviously. But it turns out one of the first opener for that night happened to be another one of my favorite local artists, Wheelwright, and so he opened the show that night, and he's out on tour now, and his first show of the tour was back here in Phoenix, I think at Valley or no, sorry, at Rebel Lounge,
Okay.
but it just happened to be on the Memorial Day Monday, when I was like travel nightmare and I was like stuck in 4 different airports during the day. So I got home and I was
Yeah.
exhausted. And so I ended up going to that show and I was really bummed I missed out. But anyway,
That's a bummer.
yeah.
Well, go support your local artists. We can close on
Yes.
that. If you're listening to this, because you'll still have time by the time this comes out on Friday. If you're listening to this and you need something to do on Father's Day, take your dads, take your friends, go see Good Boy Daisy and Winona Fighter, or go see a local band if you're not in Arizona. Like our we have an audience in Ireland, our one Irish listener. Go see a local band. It'll be great. All right. We, as always, have been 1 hour, one brain cell. You can follow us at OHOBC Pod, wherever you get your social media, your Twitter, your Instagram, your TikTok. Thank you guys for showing up on TikTok this past week, and YouTube this past week. Let's keep that energy going. We love it. Thank you. We'll see you next time.
Bye.